Y'all, today we need to talk about some brand new breaking news for Wizard101 on console. So they just announced this on the Wizard101 Discord yesterday, but officially they're adding a bunch of membership elixirs to the Crowns shop for Wiz on console. Now, based on this announcement, there are some big changes that they're doing to even the membership elixir that we currently have for Wiz on PC. One, there are some pretty serious pricing changes, and for the first time ever, we're looking at 6-month and 1-year membership elixirs being available for purchase for 30,000 and 60,000 crowns respectively. Now, this is actually a big deal for a lot of reasons. I actually think it's some really good news. If you know the context of this, you'll know that people have been kind of mad at the current state of Wiz on console just for the past like 3-4 days. Wiz's initial plan was to test out the paywall in their first stage of their game preview that they're currently running on Xbox. If y'all are unfamiliar with the game preview, your data will not be saved when this game testing phase is done, but any purchases you make will be refunded to you for a new account that you can make on Xbox when they officially launch. When they originally put Wiz on console out for Xbox to test, they wanted to actually test out the paywall, but there was a soft lock in the Hall of Champions that prevented it. I want to say about 9 days into this game preview, they patched the soft lock out, and then they reinstituted a paywall so they could test whether it worked. Now, here's where people started getting mad, right? Right now, there is no option to actually buy a traditional membership in Wiz on console. So the only alternative, right, because you don't have membership available to you, is to actually go into every new zone and purchase crowns. And I'm sure this is just something that people know, especially if they've played the game a lot, or if they're just, you know, thinking about the amount of money they spend on games in general. Buying things zone by zone, especially when you consider the current pricing for even early zones on Wiz, it makes sense if you're going to play the game for a very extended period of time, to the point where buying a monthly membership over and over again would actually be higher than the cost of the zone. And I'm going to be honest, to this day, I still think the pricing for these zones is actually pretty high, right? This is just the Krakatopia prices. For every like third of Krakatopia, you're still spending thousands of crowns. The world of Krakatopia costs more than technically buying 1 month of membership, and in a month, you could get through Krakatopia, Marleybone, Mushu. You could get through quite a few worlds. You could probably get through the entire first arc. So for the people trying to test out the Xbox version of Wiz, buying it zone by zone, even with getting the money back, it's just a big sunken cost for something that, who knows, maybe they'll like it, but maybe they won't. So Wiz clarified that they were, you know, basically going to add a second stage of testing to Wiz on console where membership elixirs would be available. They didn't make the time frame clear whatsoever. In my opinion, based on the way they announced it, I thought we would be waiting weeks. But it looks like now you have a way to get 1 month of prepaid time for, honestly, a pretty low 5,000 crowns. And essentially, you can see all of Wiz for 5,000 crowns, and when Xbox servers reset for the official launch, everyone who buys this elixir will basically start at level 1 with at least 5,000 crowns, which is really awesome. Now, I think the pricing is also very notable. The 8,000 crowns price for the 1 month of prepaid time that is currently on Wiz on PC is actually higher than what they're doing for, I guess, at least the game preview version of console. What I'm really hoping is that they actually keep these prices. Why do I say this? Let's say that membership didn't exist to begin with and everybody had to purchase this in order to not have to buy zones. If you go onto the Wizard101 website to buy crowns to do that, these are currently the only buyable amounts of crowns when there isn't a sale. And what you'll notice is that an 8,000 crowns price tag is done quite strategically and quite annoyingly, right? Let's say that it was just 7,500 crowns and you would buy the 5,000 crowns for $10 and the 2,500 crowns for $5. And then I guess instead of a $10 membership, you would basically be buying $15 worth of crowns to get the membership. But let's be honest, even in that good situation relative to what it is right now, you're still paying $5 more for a month of prepaid time if you use crowns instead of just regular money to buy a membership. If they wanted this elixir to be the same as buying a membership, it would be 5,000 crowns, right? Because that's what a $10 membership is worth. That's what 5,000 crowns is worth. That's $10. I've always found it really odd that they don't do that on Wiz on PC. Maybe it's like an additional incentive to buy a membership, but in my opinion, at the end of the day, money is money, right? I think some people prefer crowns purchases, some people prefer monthly, you know, payments. At the end of the day, though, this price change on console is very good, because now, instead of sinking $20 into the game just to test out the game preview without buying a bunch of zones, now it's just $10. I think that's a lot more palatable for a lot of people. I would argue if you actually like a game, $10 versus $20, that's a real decision that people can make. Now, let's talk about how quickly they did this as well. It took them 8 days to patch out the Hall of Champions softlock. It took them 3 days to add membership elixirs to the crown shop. Not only did they roll out entirely new products we've never seen on PC, they did it with new pricing that actually isn't crazy. I think that gives me a lot of hope, y'all. I feel like Wiz on console, the excitement that I've seen around it, it seems a lot more than usual. That just might be, maybe I'm biased, maybe I wanted to do well, but I'm very, very happy that it only took them this few days to actually tackle what I would argue was a very unreasonable price tag up to this point to even test out Wiz on console. I think their decision to add specific elixirs for console only really reflects on how weird of paying a membership to play a game online on console is, because most people already pay membership to play online on things like Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch, right? So that's something that I think monetization wise they'll have to grapple with a little bit. It is crazy to me that they have so many other things also in, I guess, like in the form of somewhat regular payments that you can make for crowns. That kind of is like a membership, right? I'm talking about like the Scroll of Fortune that you could buy for extra rewards, even though there are free rewards, things like the battle pass, right? Those are things that you buy every season or every 3 months, and I feel like even those things are more compatible with the way people tend to buy things on console, right? Think the battle pass on Fortnite. I feel like it's a very similar thing. I really hope that they focus more on that and actually just try to make it so that, let's say that you buy a month of prepaid time, maybe you just buy it for things like member benefits, not to unlock zones. Very, very obviously, there were a ton of people that were unwilling to buy zones until this elixir came out. And I think that's really, really valid because it's based on what I would argue are very, very high prices for relatively short zones, even as early as Krakatopia. Regardless of the need for these elixirs in console or not, I would love if they added this for PC as well. I think, especially with this pricing, a lot of people would buy it, and frankly, some people do prefer buying things with crowns because maybe they'll make more money for a certain month and they want to actually, you know, treat themselves, and as a result they might buy crowns in bulk, and instead of needing to also buy a membership added onto it, they can just, you know, get a membership for a reasonable price when making bulk crowns purchases. I think that, like, you know, like group of players, they've kind of been like stiffed a little bit with this 8,000 crowns 1 month prepaid elixir on PC Wiz. I was honestly very, very nervous about, one, how long it would take for them to add a membership elixir, and the pricing. I thought really, since they seemed to respond to a lot of what the community was saying by just making Wiz on PC free until the 28th. If y'all don't know, that's still happening. That seemed to be their response to this. I thought that would just be the bare minimum, and then they would take weeks to actually do this. If y'all want to play Wiz fully for free, play the PC version. If you want to play it on console for just $10 of a refunded purchase, go on console now. You can literally experience the game all the way up to max level for the cheapest crowns purchasable price we've ever seen. Right, these are really good steps for Wiz. I'm very, very happy to see it. I hope console just explodes off of this. But let me know what y'all think. We've had a crazy first week on console. It looks like they've been receptive to feedback, and now we even have new products that we've never seen in the crown shop for Wiz on PC. And now that we know that they're taking so much of this feedback seriously, please drop your feedback on it in the comment section. I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts on all of this, the pricing, the actual existence of a membership elixir. Do y'all think they should experiment with more time lengths? Maybe shorter than a month? Maybe, you know, somewhere between a month and 6 months? I'd love to hear all of y'all's thoughts on this. Drop a like if you enjoyed, leave a sub if you're new, and if somebody hasn't told you you're awesome today, they doing something wrong. Stay awesome, y'all. See y'all soon, and yeah.